Hello YouTube, my name is jamespfp. I also go by James. This is the Banjocast. Pitchforks and flaming torches. Get ready to let the thing roll here. Got a Sticks video at the top of the hour. Copy. But I also have to update my stream information. Looks like it's live. Excellent, excellent. I'm going to get to the updation while I'm at it. So it's the B stream. V to update that. And, so I'm doing everything off screen. You're not going to be seeing what I'm doing in the background. But I'm just making sure that everything that I need to have updated in the stream info as I start. I started streaming in advance of hitting the button on YouTube today, that's all. No warning, it just started streaming. First thing I've got up loaded here, ready to go, is a video from Sticks, Hex and Hammer. I'll go over to this one today.
All right, everyone. Today's big story, of course, is Trump is once again...
This is wrestling day.
And going after, like, the FBI, like the McCabe, or again, McCabe, or whatever the fuck his name is. Mueller, the investigation, saying it's been tainted, basically. Fox came out and has basically openly declared, at this point, it's been tainted. I would have to agree with him, but it actually goes further than he's stating. He's focusing on Fusion GPS because that's the one... Of all of the scandals, Fusion GPS is the one that sort of took off. Now, I think months ago I said when, you know, the Pissgate dossier thing was going on, like during the election itself, I think I said that was the big one to look for. And then it sort of disappeared, and I was slightly upset because, like, come on, can't you put two and two together? And then people at the time were still fixated on other lesser things. Now, of course, Fusion GPS is the one that everyone's talking about, but here's the thing. The Russian stuff. Trump is saying basically Fusion GPS is the origin story of the more Russia bullshit, which, you know, at this point, at some point the Democrats have got to let the issue go, or it's going to bite them in the ass. I don't think they actually believe this tripe. And that's exactly what it is. It's nonsense. It always was. But here's the real origin story, and this is why we know that it's bullcrap, at least mostly. And of course, Flynn, he's, you know, this has nothing to do with Trump, the Flynn story. Manafort, his indictment, that came for stuff that happened years ago. Had even met Trump at that point. We're not even necessarily 100% sure. He was off with Tony Podesta, a Democrat at the time, running the Podesta group with his brother, Clinton's campaign chair. So that has nothing to do with Donald Trump. That almost implicates the Clinton campaign more, which ties into Uranium One, I believe. And I think Sessions is looking into that currently. The real origin story, though, is that the DNC had a leaker. They had Seth Rich, or whoever it happens to be. Somebody leaked a bunch of DNC materials to basically WikiLeaks. And the DNC wanted to cover that up because it didn't want people to look at the content of that material. So it said, oh, the Russians did it. Big, big, scary Vladimir Putin, 10 scoops of ice cream himself. He's the one responsible. Whoa, he's trying to influence the election. Now they set the groundwork. And here's the funny thing. You'll remember that all these same people said that Russia couldn't really influence the election when they thought that Clinton was going to win. They got caught with their pants down twice, then they had to stick with the story. So they had to try to flip it around. So now instead of saying, well, no, other countries, they can't do anything about the election, there can't be any meddling, no funny business, it's impossible, our election's 100% ironclad, no fraud, no problems at all, certainly no, like, rigging. All of a sudden, they say, oh, no, everything was rigged, everything's fraudulent, everything's horrible. Now, to an unmedicated individual, it looks like they completely did a 180. But they are hoping that you won't realize this, so they want you to not realize that a leaker was responsible for the DNC leaks. They want to make it, they want it to fit the profile of an uber scary Russian hack. Now, let alone that their password was apparently Obama '08, or at least that was the report at the time. And if that's true, it's still mind-blowing even a year later. It's really mind-blowing how dumb they can be. Then Podesta's material gets out there, and it probably all ties into like Clinton's lack of email protection.
Fried eggs and spam, huh?
Because of course we've seen some of the content there too. It's like, it's so nuts. It's just so so dirty and so unethical. And then we find out that they were using straw men allegedly to funnel millions of dollars into the Clinton campaign through state DNC chairs. So anyone can see, you know, while everyone's fixated on hoping that Mueller is going to find dirt on Trump, and we find out that the only significant stories that we've had so far are, yeah, Michael Flynn had inappropriate contact with some Russians, not to any felonious even degree. And Manafort, you know, he was laundering money, but that was, you know, what, a decade ago, and it was involved with the Podesta group. They've been doing a thorough and supposedly fair investigation into Trump for a year now. Although, personally, I think that that's not even really Mueller's target. He's looking at all these other people because I think honestly they have discovered a criminal activity going on, something that's more interlocked, like a web of criminals laundering money, and it probably mostly ties into Manafort and Podesta, which means it probably takes out some Democrats too. At this point, though, I think he's already reasonably assured that he's not going to get anything on Trump, especially when it turns out that FBI agents, according, again, to leaked materials, are constantly texting each other about how Trump is evil. You know, Trump insurance file says, you know, basically Mueller's number 2 or number 3. That's a problem. Because, I mean, they can't really indict Trump if it looks like every fan that he has, which is tens of millions of people still politically active within the country, would raise unholy havoc. Because they would say, well, it's basically a coup. Look, we can prove the FBI is biased. And McCabe or whatever's biased. I mean, Mueller's biased too. It's the establishment. We've got to defend the president. It would be insane. You know, like they actually have the balls to indict him even if they found something at this point. And I don't think that there's anything to find. But it goes past Fusion GPS. That's certainly the most interesting part of the story. The Pissgate dossier was so off the wall. The concept that Trump is so one-dimensional that he's hiring Russian prostitutes to urinate in the Obama's hotel bed is so out there. If any other individual within politics had a claim similar to this made about them, nobody would believe it. But because it was Donald Trump, there were people that, enough people took it seriously, they got enough rope to hang themselves, when you think about it. Because now it turns out we can prove that it's not real, and oops, they submitted this stuff knowing that it wasn't real, as though it was, basically to spur an investigation to try to get surveillance on an active presidential campaign. It looks like an attempt was made to false flag Trump in order to justify such an investigation, probably to try to take him out before he was able to win. And then when they realized there wasn't any dirt there, and I think another thing is they may have found out about Manafort's bullshit early on, and then they realized that it actually didn't involve Trump, but it did involve a bunch of Democrats, including probably people associated with the heads of the FBI, and they're like, whoops, yeah, we uncovered too much, and now we have no choice but to document it, otherwise, you know, we could end up in Gitmo. We're gonna have to quiet down a little bit and really, really hope that we can find some dirt, anything to nail Trump on this. And now they're just desperately digging. So the DNC wanted to save its own ass, and sort of did, because its fans were dumb enough not to look into the content of the WikiLeaks releases. They actually thought Russia was involved. It was the funniest thing ever. The FBI, apparently, at some level, was trying to cover its ass. Mueller's trying to cover his ass. Clinton was trying to cover hers, certainly Podesta. And then you've got Manafort. Basically, I guess, a rhino, an old Reaganite neo.
Shit ton of asses, and then this rhino, yeah.
Con that was working with Podesta at the time, of all people, to embezzle and launder a bunch of money. That implicates, indeed, a fairly high-ranking Democratic donor, who happens to be the brother of Clinton's campaign chair himself. Think about the ramifications. You've got someone who is one step from Clinton, has her on speed dial, and his brother is laundering money with someone who's the target of an investigation into a totally different presidential campaign running at the same time. Doesn't that seem slightly fishy to you? That all of these, you know, I would say, in general, it's politics.
No mic or cam? Oh, it doesn't matter. There is also a text channel there. Also a text only. There, backup. But yeah, whatever. Cool one way or the other. I need to consistently remind others tonight that this is an option. Some people may well have Discord and may want to talk as opposed to use text to contact back and forth. What was I thinking there then? Oh yeah, all those, there was so there was asses and there was a rhino, and then I heard about a ram, and what did he say? It was fishy at the end? Holy fuck.
Is corrupt. There are a lot of corrupt people around in DC, and they all tend to be entangled together, doing the same things. There are only so many kinds of corruption that are going to bring them the kind of money and power that they want. Money laundering, slush funds, certainly human trafficking, drug dealing, you know, the normal fare, starting a proxy war. So this is what they get involved in. Don't you think that they reach across the aisle to work on these things? Hey, basically, yeah, we'll make so much money. They don't care if it's a Democrat or Republican helping them do that. If they can complement one another enough to be able to pull such a heist off and defraud the American people, they really don't care who they're working with per se. I mean, if they're willing to work with some cannibalistic warlord over in Eastern Africa who traffics in human labor and sells slaves to the Middle East for like oil barons to buy, if that's what they're involved with, do you think that they care whether a person has a D or an R after their name or isn't even in politics actively at the time? Manafort didn't care if it was Tony Podesta. Tony Podesta didn't care if it was Reagan's former campaign advisor. They don't care. They're making money. Lots and lots of it. They even get to destroy entire countries. But yeah, you're not going to find anything on Trump. That's my main prediction. Number two, though, it would be nice if you would come out and you need to point out to people, Trump should, and his fans should, that it goes beyond Fusion GPS. It's just one component of the cover-up after the DNC began trying to cover its ass because it had leaky security. The DNC is probably the progenitor of all this. Then they decided to take advantage of their own cover-up, which was already ongoing, and when they lost the election, they decided to pull all of these other things together, try to make it look like Trump was an agent of the Russians, when indeed it's entirely possible that the Democrats are the ones predominantly attempting to do so. That's honestly what appears to have gone on. And they had allies, whether knowingly or unknowingly, within the FBI apparently attempting to help them. Because they have a stick up their ass about Trump. You know, they're normal people. The fact that they worked for a bureau doesn't mean that they don't have bias. Mueller assures us, oh, I know, well, you know, people have their own personal opinions, you know, in other words, bias. But don't worry, they can do their job in an unbiased manner. Oh, man, that's funny. We don't allow a private business to operate that way. Oh, yeah, this person says bigoted things on Facebook, but we're gonna keep them on at this job. And nobody should worry about it because they can still do their job without allowing their insane level of bigotry to affect them. They can still work with black customers. They're totally not going to insult them behind their back. It's not going to be a stain on our company. At the FBI, apparently, according to the Democratic Party, that's not a problem. Only in private business. But this is government. Government's like a sacred cow to them anyway. It's always perfect, unless it's Trump, oddly enough. Or Lindsey Graham. They tried to play nice with him, get him aboard, because he likes to powder his face enough for their tastes. But then he went back over with Trump. He wanted to play with the big boys, I guess. That's about all.
Thanks a lot, Sticks. I was thinking about an earlier Sticks video as well. He had another one on there. Another one which I listened to first. That's the way I should put it. And when I listened to it first, it was giving me ideas. So I'll get back to that idea that I got from it later on. Yeah, I've got a Discord channel started. Anyone who's joining the chat here, and it's only one of us so far. And I mean, when I say one of us, Hilljack is you. But anyone else who happens to listen to the stream, perhaps later, there is a Discord channel that's been started. You can check the discussion page, part of my page, to see more about that. I should have posted a link. So I'll do that right now. I'm doing it in the background. You can have a look at the picture here on my desktop. I'd say it's a pseudo desktop. I'll turn off the camera for a moment. That's a picture from the harbor down here in the harbor. I'm going to put down something in the description of the videos from here on out. Join the Banjocast on Discord. I was really glad actually to find that Discord had a Linux client. I wasn't expecting it for whatever reason. So I shall find it under comments, I bet. Yes, yes, I will. Open copy link. There's a different link. I have a different link in the video description than the one that I just posted in chat, but doesn't matter. And yeah, the only reason that I chose to go ahead and create a Discord channel, other than the fact that it has voice chats, which is nice, voice comms. You can also make it read things out, which I find charmingly awesome. For example, I'll do it right now. I think this works. Let's give it a test. Huh. That didn't work. Edit channel. I'm gonna have to see why that didn't work. That should have worked. Yeah, didn't work though, did it? Huh. That should have sent a text to a vocal text readout, but it didn't do it. Well, I'll figure that out later. No biggie. It does at least have a client, so I can connect to it and stay connected to it. And the picture here is, yeah, there's a heavy lifting ship down in the harbor. But she's not local stock. No sir, no sir. I mean, she's employed locally, but she ain't local. She's been lifting heavy stuff elsewhere. I wonder if I should deliver the good news first or the bad news first. The good news is that all of the American Sniper base cutting has been completed. So I'm ready to do the next step of the process, which is to do overlays and adds. And I've just pulled open a copy of Blender. And another window. But you do have a 32-inch monitor. That's good, that's good. It's a step in the right direction, right? Oh, wow, my mouse is getting tangled up. So the last thing I did yesterday was to render a final cut, which has all the audio in position and all the video in position. So now if I enable the waveform on the bottom, it'll take a few minutes to render it out. Maybe a minute. There you go. Not a few minutes at all. And get rid of that. Ooh. So now what I really need to do is figure out where specific things are. For example, I can look at the first minute of video here and know that the video doesn't start until about here. That's probably number one.
Number 1.
So there's my number 1 point. M no one is now a mark on my timeline. So I'm going to be needing to use something for this first minute. Some kind of video information needs to be appearing here on screen. Some of it will be based on what I say, some of it won't be. Well, it'll all be based on what I say. Some of it will be the same words, some of it won't be.
A numbered list of reasons why American Sniper didn't deserve any Oscars.
I've got a good mind to silence this part of the audio.
Dateline February 23rd, 2015 at 3:33
All of that.
p.m. for Tuesday.
Yeah. I might even make a little cut there. We'll wait on that. This part here, I don't want to do all the words.
I've been sitting on this list for over a month, waiting to read the list of Oscar winners this morning, and then I started seeing posts about how this film was robbed.
That I need to try to flesh out. I might want to use some video clips in this part. A collage of video clips which are loosely related to one another. Bad proof, in other words.
To my dear friends and anyone else who cares to listen or read, here's a labor of love that took hours to type out and edit, unlike the fucking travesty that is the screenplay. By the way, when I did up the list, I was most impressed that I apparently shot up the script more times than Kyle had kills in Iraq.
0.93, I think.
The opening titles use a Muslim calling the faithful to prayer with Allahu Akbar in order to roll eyes.
Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7.
Number 7.
So I can easily tell which ones are which. I have to keep a running tally. I'm not going to put down a number for each of them, but I'll put it down a number every 10th one. 8, 9, 10, number 11.
Number 12.
Oh, number 11.
Number 11.
Control M here, number 11. So there'll be a nice even spacing of cue marks for me to go by here with the timeline. I'm thinking to myself what I can do in order to do the numbers in 3D, but it can be done on 12, 13 there.
Number 13.
14, 15, 16, 14, 15, 16.
Number 16.
17, 18.
Number 23.
Ha.
Number 22. Number 20. Number 21.
So here's the next one. Aimé. 21. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Number 28. Proposal for tour number 1, Fallujah. Number 30. Number 30.
No, 31. What's this one?
Number 34. Where is it? 36. Overwatch. Number 41.
Ooh.
You killed anyone yet? Number 45. You killed anyone yet? Number 39. Number 51.
So familiarity breeds sometimes resentment, and I mean to say, starting to be able to pick out what numbers are which, but it's a much easier process when it's all one strip, which is what I did first, merely to cut them together.
Who is this? Number 57. The term is not in the number 59. I was in 7ing up psychology. Number 62. Oh shit. Number 61.
6-1. Ooh, 6-1 would be better. These are mostly for visual use only. They're not doing any other, they won't be serving any other purpose.
Number 64. Must be nice to get out. Number 68. Must. Bonus points. Number 70. He's all up. Number 71.
Ooh, there we go. I was tempted to go out today, but you know, we, Hilljack, this is the ongoing discussion with weather and weather conditions. We had a freezing rainstorm yesterday, which turned to rain overnight, and it was warmer last night than it was today. Or it was warmer last night than it was yesterday and today. We had a lot of wind today. We've got a almost skating rink across the street now, on a hill. How ice formed over the surface of a hill. It's glare ice, the whole thing. $71.
Number 74. What? Not chronologically accurate. Number 77. Insert new brass. Number 78. New brass.
Catch my own
Let's
mistakes.
put fear of God in these. Number 80. Let's put. A soldier is like in the audience. Number 80.
Huh? 80? 80?
Number 80. And the book notes that Kyle didn't get that tattoo until after tour number 2. Crusader Crouch, yes sir. The bounty posters, according to the book, never identified Kyle except by his tattoo. And the book... Crouch, yes sir. Is that you? Number 79. Is that you? Crusader Crouch, yes
totally
sir.
I'm fuck up in here.
Posters. Kyle Noop. Number 80. Words like savage in the audience. That's how. Number 80. Number 80.
Here's 81 and it needs to be replaced. I could re-render the whole thing for this one little piece of audio, but it would be much simpler for me to make a cut here and fix it. Replace it with another take. Where was 80? 80 was in the first recording session. No, it wasn't. Yeah, yes it was. Or I need myself saying 81, obviously. I must have said 80 twice. I'm only now catching it. Let's say cut. Easy fix. 81, 82.
Number 85. Series number 89. Number 90. Close up. Number 91.
No, 91.
Number 92. Number 93. Execute. Number 95. Oh, 97. Mustafa. Number 98. Armed. Number 99. Number 100. One.
Yep. So there's a lot less marks this way through. But there is a before and after point. Oh, such a mistake there. Didn't make a note of that the first time. I did though, I did. Oh. There's 101. Let's figure out where the next one is.
Hey, buddy, can I talk? 103, 107, 111.
Ah, that's the one I was looking for. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
121.
No, 121. Even easier if I make this the right size, I bet.
Lee's family getting royalties. 120.
There's 2, 3. Trickier this one. What's that one?
129.
30, 31.
132.
Oh.
131. Too early. 130.
131. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
137.
8, 9, 10.
Sora! 141.
One. Reading the numbers is the fun part. It really was.
100.
2, 3.
144.
4, okay. 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
9. 151.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 should be around here maybe.
160. Sandstorm. 161.
Getting pretty good at that, eh? 161. Close enough for government work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
169. 172.
Oh, right there.
171. 170.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. There one.
179, 180, 181.
181. Bam.
$187, $190, $191.
Okay, boy, oh boy, we're almost there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
February 2nd. 199, 200, 201.
So, Hilljack, I gotta be honest, after you left last evening, I ended up recording a bunch of, I ended up playing a bunch of John Prine. Which ones did I do? I did Christmas in Prison, and then I did Illegal Smile, one after the other. Figure they actually go well together. Ought to know better. Maybe I know well enough. So I have this minute to deal with it at the beginning, and then I have a whole period of time where there won't be much to do other than mark up pre-existing stills. But I can also now quick scrub through these so we can get the movie real quick. If I wanted to have fun, I could treat it like I don't know if anyone saw the Vietnam documentary that PBS did last year. Play this backwards, I get that. Play this backwards, it'll still kind of make sense, but at least it'll fit better in time than it did in the original.
The opening titles use a Muslim calling the faithful to prayer with Allahu Akbar. More to Warner Brothers than it does to the Bible. Cartoon morality is what deacons do best. Number 9. Shooting the rodeo. Number 10. Rodeo belt buckles are to ensure a sex life. Number 11. Why do you think I do this, huh? I do it to get attention. So much for drama and for acting. Number 12.
Bam, bam.
Righteous indignation.
So yeah, the next thing. This particular video instance is the audio and the video file together, which I rendered. It's about 400 megabytes, I believe, between the audio and the video, which isn't bad. But I now have the freedom of being able to go over to the default mode. It's currently set to the other instance, and in the default mode of Blender, I get a 3D window, like I was doing the mapping in the Charlottesville work. But now I can do some things with that. I can, for example, I could add a camera. And with the camera, the view is currently set to orthographic mode. I'll set the camera also to ortho. Have a look through the camera. I'll set my position above the floor space as 10 units. I'll set my orthographic scale to also be 10. So I get 10 units of width. And what is it, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a bit in height? Close to 6. Maybe 6 and a bit. Now this is going to be a video overlay space. Or at least I'll be able to look at a video, which is loaded as a clip. In fact, I'm going to load it as a background image, the same as I had the map loaded as a background image to work with. This is going to be a movie clip. Camera clip, doesn't matter. It's a clip, but nothing loaded yet. I'll go to the render itself and get it. The audio for the clip is already loaded in this scene. And here we can already see the video. So now, if I go to where number 1 is here on the timeline.
Number 1.
Aha, now the video pops into this 3D window and I can add things in 3D space directly to where the video would be, and it would be in proper perspective and location. This won't directly mark up the original video. It will only do something in 3D, which then I can take out afterward and overlay on the video itself and put the two of them together. This is the real fun part of Blender, as far as I'm concerned. If you wanted to match camera motion in 3D space, you could do it here as well. I can make this a little more opaque. I want it to be on back though, not in front. I'm going to set that to 73%. Let's see how it works now. If I go back to when number 1 started.
1.
For example, I know number 1 needs to be on the screen right about there. So the very first element I need to add in here is a number. And this is what I was thinking about earlier, how to do the number. How to get the number to update automatically. So what I did there was to create a font object. A text object, and I put the number 1 in there. And now I'm going to put it dead center on the, it'll be negative 0.25, I guess. And negative 0.25 again. Maybe lower. And I'll make this bigger so it's easier to see. But I've got different controls for the various things, various parts of this text object. I can make that a lower resolution. It would probably help out. Geometry is good. It doesn't need to be offset or extruded or anything. Its size can be made bigger, which means I'll also have to readjust what the location of this. And all I'm doing is centering it on its control point, which is in the center of, you can see the control point there in the middle. It's currently centered on where the crosshairs are. And I can align it horizontally or vertically. And I've applied an offset to correct for the alignment. But how about this? A text counter, an animated text counter. A dynamic or an animated. Counter is going to start at 1. It's a number, not a decimal number, but just a number. And I'll set a keyframe here with it at 1. And now I'm going to grab it and position it. It's awful big. I could put it right in the middle. I should put it right in the middle and let it get bigger. That would probably be a good idea. Okay, I'll go with that. Put it right in the middle of the image. I should probably set it to solid mode so we get a sense that the number is going to be this kind of a color. And I'll even go ahead and give it the whiteboard setting, which gives it this texture. And then the world, the background of the world, hasn't been set yet. I'll have to create a new one. Wonder what's going on here. Funny. Blender decides to crash right at that moment in time. I quickly saved it. That's what I did. I quickly saved it. Pulling that down here. Call this the overlay world. It needs to have horizon colored very dark. No zenith color required. So it now has this diffuse color of white material, which is shadeless. It doesn't need any light. It doesn't need to receive light. And if I were to render an image of it, oh, I wouldn't expect to see that. Don't need the sequencer, only the compositing. That was the issue. I would see this. I could composite this upon, like take this layer and add it to the video, but I'm going to be using the video as an underlay layer merely for sound and audio and video purposes for synchronization. Don't need the camera, want the text object. So I hear you asking, hey James, you're using this font all the time. Is that the only font you can use? Answer is no. You can change the font. You can change each of the fonts. In fact, you can change any one of these types of fonts. So if you want to have regular, bold, different fonts for each of these situations, you can use them. B font is Blender font, comes with Blender. But you can also load other fonts, as in you can load any kind of true type fonts. Surprise, surprise, now this decides to fool up. Might have guessed that I got a little bit of a bump there. Peak concurrent. Funny. 649. Yeah, right now, huh? What's going on with them drop frames? Dunno. Let me get my Blender window back. Here's Blender. Here's the stuff that I'm intending to render. What I'm going to do is have this number pop on screen and then pop off screen as it's run, as it's read, and then change to another number, so when it pops on screen again, it's ready for the next time. But I'll change this font. Sorry, I'll change the font here to something else. Carla Bold, Laura, these are all decent. Playful display, work sans, bold, light, medium. Let's try work sans regular. Yeah, number 1. Could make the character bold or underlined or italic or whatever here as well. Huh. Might have guessed. So how was I doing that? I mean to say, how was I animating it? I've got this script called text counter added to my Blender instance. That's what does it. That's what allows me to do the various tricks with text. Like using it for a counter or using it as a time code machine, an on-the-fly time code. I wonder if I should make this small. Just make it small together here. I like have an idea though with my, how to say this. I get a better idea of what my, I'm hoping this fixed it. We'll see now. We'll have an idea in a second. Yeah, I'll have an idea. I don't know about you. Perhaps you get an idea too. I imagine you shall. I go over to this window, go over this one. That one's so good. Cam only. Cancel. Jesus Christ, this thing. All right. See if that don't work. Preview currently disabled. That's wondering whether or not this is going to pick up again proper. Let's see what happens. Getting the distinct impression I was pushing Blender to the memory limit. Makes sense that I would save that project. I just saved the project, is what I did. Make sure everything was going to work fine. I'll go over here to the labs for a second, see how this works out. Think we're getting there. Think we're getting there. Wasn't the chat being popped out? Is that enough to push it over the top? It may well be. So as I was saying, this number can be animated now. I can grab a hold of it, put it wherever I want it, make it come on and off the screen for a particular cue point, and change it dynamically. Like I can have this as an animated deal, and since the counter goes between 1 and 206, all I need to do now is to animate this to be a certain number by a certain frame, and that's the end of that. So I'll do the numbers first. And as I get ideas on the way, I'll be able to refine them, know which numbers I'm intending to do, which numbers are going to do what. I could also make these numbers visible and invisible. Like text number 9 right now is the name of this object. I'm going to rename it. I'll call it counter, so it's nice and visible. Counter can be animated on and off screen, but it can also be made to appear and disappear by turning this render button on and off. Or sorry, same as this eye will turn it on and off in the display. If I hit the render button next to it, it will make it renderable or not renderable, depending on frame number. So if I go back 10 frames,
Number 1.
I won't want it actually visible until at least this moment in time. So if I were to go back a single frame and tell it to not render and not be visible, it would be both for the earlier part of the video. Go forward a frame, make them both visible and renderable again, and the number appears.
Number 1.
And I want it gone by the time the video appears. So on this one, and you can see on the timeline there how the available keyframes are highlighted as yellow lines. Keyframes that I've laid down on this particular object. Here's number 2, right?
Number 2.
So the moment it comes back to a black screen, I could totally turn it back on again. But by this moment in time, Mr. Counter here needs to be 2. So here we go. And by this moment in time, the counter will be disappeared. My issue is here. Control save. Fix for this on